Good evening, I'm Maham Tawa with the news-making headlines around the world. His Highness the Prime Minister affirms Kuwait's keenness in retaining stability in Egypt and Yemen. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister confirms Kuwait's commitment to the UN Security Council resolution regarding terrorism. The US-led coalition targets oil refineries controlled by IS group in Syria, killing 14 militants. And the UN Security Council adopts a resolution on preventing fighters from joining foreign conflicts. In our first item, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received the cable of congratulations from His Excellency President of the Republic of Senegal, Macky Sall, in which he congratulated His Highness for naming Kuwait a humanitarian center and himself a humanitarian leader by the United Nations. The cable said this honoring was in recognition and appreciation of His Highness the Emir's contributions and support to humanitarian action, which boosted Kuwait's position at the international level. President Sall also wished His Highness the best of health and continual progress for the State of Kuwait under his prudent leadership. His Highness the Emir sent a reply cable expressing thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Senegal for his kind feelings and best wishes as expressed in his cable, as well as for his congratulations on being named by the United Nations the humanitarian leader and Kuwait the humanitarian center. His Highness the Emir also thanked President Sall for his praise of the State of Kuwait and its outstanding support to the relief work across the world, adding that this gesture reflected the existing good relations between the two countries and their friendly people. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received a cable of congratulations from His Excellency President of the Republic of Georgia, Georgi Markashvili, in which he congratulated His Highness for naming Kuwait a humanitarian center and himself a humanitarian leader by the United Nations. The cable said this honoring was in recognition and appreciation of His Highness the Emir's contributions and support to humanitarian action, which boosted Kuwait's position at the international level. The Georgian President also wished His Highness the best of health and continual progress for the State of Kuwait under his prudent leadership. His Highness the Emir sent a reply cable expressing thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Georgia for his kind feelings and best wishes as expressed in his cable, as well as for his congratulation on being named by the United Nations the humanitarian leader and Kuwait the humanitarian center. His Highness the Emir also thanked the Georgian President for his praise of the State of Kuwait and its outstanding support to the relief work across the world, adding that this gesture reflected the existing good relations between the two countries and their friendly people. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received a cable of congratulations from His Excellency Prime Minister of the Republic of Lebanon, Tamam Salam, in which he congratulated His Highness for naming Kuwait a humanitarian center and himself a humanitarian leader by the United Nations. The cable said this honoring was in recognition and appreciation of His Highness the Emir's contributions and support to humanitarian action, which boosted Kuwait's position at the international level. The Lebanese Premier also wished His Highness the best of health and continual support or progress for the State of Kuwait under his prudent leadership. His Highness the Emir sent a reply cable expressing thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the Prime Minister of Lebanon for his kind feelings and best wishes as expressed in his cable, as well as for his congratulations on being named by the United Nations the humanitarian leader and Kuwait the humanitarian center. His Highness the Emir also thanked the Lebanese Premier for his praise of the State of Kuwait and its outstanding support to the relief work across the world, adding that this gesture reflected the existing good relations between the two countries and their friendly people. His Highness Sheikh Jabir Al-Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, Chairman of Kuwait's delegation to the current session of the UN General Assembly, met in New York with His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of the Arab Republic of Egypt. His Highness conveyed to the Egyptian President greetings of His Highness the Emir and his best wishes to the people of Egypt for greater development, prosperity and stability. The two sides exchanged views regarding issues of common concern to the Arab world, which will be discussed by the UN General Assembly in its current session. They also discussed ways of coordination among the Arab countries in reaching a unified stand against terrorist threats in the region. The meeting was attended by members of the accompanying delegation. His Highness Sheikh Jabir Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Subah, the Prime Minister, Chairman of Kuwait's delegation to the current session of the UN General Assembly, received in New York today His Excellency the Prime Minister of Iraq, Dr. Haider al-Abadi, and congratulated him on the formation of the new government. His Highness also expressed hope that peace and stability would prevail in Iraq. The two Prime Ministers also exchanged views regarding the Arab issues which figured on the UN General Assembly agenda, especially the war against terrorist threats in Iraq and support for the international efforts to combat them. The meeting was attended by the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Subah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Subah. His Highness Sheikh Jabir Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Subah, the Prime Minister, Chairman of Kuwait's delegation to the current session of the UN General Assembly, asserted Kuwait's keenness on the security and stability of both Egypt and Iraq. This assertion came during the two separate meetings between His Highness the Prime Minister and both the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Iraqi Prime Minister Dr. Haider al-Abadi in New York last night. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Subah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Subah said the two meetings were extremely important, in which Kuwait expressed its wishes for stability and security of the two countries. He added that in his first meeting with Egyptian President, His Highness Sheikh Jabir Mbarak renewed Kuwait's support for Egypt's security and economic efforts. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister said His Highness the Prime Minister expressed Kuwait's readiness to participate in the forthcoming Investors Conference, which will be held in Egypt next February at the recommendation of the custodian of the two holy mosques. Sheikh Subah Al-Khalid went on to say that the Prime Minister's meeting with Dr. Al-Abadi was also important because it is the first meeting between the two Prime Ministers in which His Highness expressed Kuwait's support for peace and stability in Iraq and preparedness to work together to complete what the two countries began in the past few years. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister said we found real responsiveness and genuine desire on Dr. Al-Abadi's part to further complete the standing issues which were previously discussed, as well as the exchange of visits by high-level officials. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Subah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Subah said Kuwait was committed to the Security Council resolution regarding the fight against terrorism. Speaking after the UN Security Council meeting last night, he said Kuwait adopted resolution number 2178, which was unanimously approved by the Council, intended to stop the flow of foreign fighters into Syria and Iraq and to contain their threat in their original countries. He pointed out that terrorism had no religion or nationality, and therefore all are urged to put up real cooperation to eliminate this evil. With regards to Yemen, Sheikh Subah Al-Khalid said an important meeting by Friends of Yemen was held and came as a strong message of support to the Yemeni people by the international community. He also voiced deep concern about the current disorder and deterioration in Yemen, which is facing a critical junction in its history. He also called upon all parties in Yemen to abide by the Gulf Initiative and the recommendations of the National Dialogue Conference. Commenting on Syria, Sheikh Subah Al-Khalid said an important meeting was arranged by the United Kingdom, which was also attended by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Germany, France and Turkey regarding the current situation in Syria. He went on to say that the world community stands beside the Syrian people in the quest of a political solution that may spare them more devastation and damage. He pointed out that President of the Syrian Alliance, Hadi al-Bahra, was present in the meeting and witnessed the world community sending a message of support to the Syrian people for a peaceful solution based on Geneva I Accord. The Acting Prime Minister, Minister of Interior, Acting Minister of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs and Acting Minister of Defense Sheikh Mohammed Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Subah received in the presence of the Interior Undersecretary Lieutenant General Sleiman Al-Fahd the Palestinian Security Delegation headed by Chief Palestinian Intelligence Major General Majd Ali Faraj and his accompanying delegation. Sheikh Mohammed Al-Khalid welcomed the Palestinian delegation and reasserted Kuwait's support to the Palestinian cause. He also praised the existing cooperation and coordination among the security agencies in Kuwait and Palestine. Head of the Palestinian delegation, for his part, commended the competency and experience of the security agencies in Kuwait. Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs Sheikh Salman Subah Salim Mahmoud Al-Subah last night inaugurated the 18th meeting of the Chief of GCC media agencies, reaffirming the zeal of GCC leaders to strengthen cohesiveness among their countries based on common goals and destiny. The meeting gathers heads of the GCC news agencies as well as GCC Assistant Secretary General for Culture and Information Affairs Khalid bin Salim Al-Ghassani and comes ahead of the GCC ministerial meeting. Our reporter Badriya Saleh has more on this story.
inaugural speech at the 18th meeting of the Chiefs of Gulf Cooperation Council news agencies, Sheikh Salman Mahmoud Salim al-Sabah said that the successive GCC summit meetings recommended closer coordination among the GCC wire services, constituting a collective responsibility for all. Concerning the strong media focus on current events taking place in the Middle East, Sheikh Salman said these exceptional conditions in the Arab region and the events in neighboring countries prompt media policymakers to double their efforts in serving their communities and directing public opinion towards shared interests. Sheikh Salman said it was an honor for the collective to shoulder this responsibility and work together towards common goals.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome GCC news agencies here in Kuwait, holding their meeting and preparing their agenda for the coming ministerial meeting of the Gulf cooperation countries. Many important issues will be discussed. I tried in my speech to welcome them and convey the importance of the agencies, news agencies, in supporting our international image and defending the GCC countries in their process to prevail peace and prosperity in this world. So on behalf of myself, Minister of Information, Kuwait News Agency Kona, we welcome our dear guests here in Kuwait, wishing them all the best.
Sheikh Salman stated that the GCC wire services are one of the most influential media outlets, helping bring diverse groups of people closer together, support decision-making processes, and promote socio-economic development. He said he takes pride in the fact that the GCC now holds representatives around the globe seeking to cover the news in a timely, objective, and professional manner. Meanwhile, Kona's board chairman and director general, Sheikh Mubarak El-Dayj Al-Ibrahim Al-Sabah, said this meeting is part of a chain aiming to augment coordination among the brothers in the region and promote media discourse, seeking for a greater role of the media in serving GCC societies amidst the unprecedented and accelerated developments on both a regional and international level. Moreover, President of the Saudi press agency Abdullah bin Fahd Al Hussein said he hopes the current meeting will lead to a roadmap for the GCC wire services in addressing the challenges of the 21st century, particularly relating to the information and communication technology revolution. The minister and his esteemed guests closed the evening by celebrating in a joint dinner together, all in line with the festivities of the award. At Jumeirah Hotel, I'm Badriya Saleh, reporting for the English News.
The U.S.-led coalition against the Islamic State, or the IS, targeted 12 oil refineries in Syria on a third night of airstrikes against the militants. Raids carried out by U.S., Saudi and UAE aircraft killed 13 of the group's fighters. According to the Pentagon, the refineries generated up to $2 million per day in revenue for the militants. The U.S. military said the latest strikes using fighter jets and drones had hit small-scale refineries that were producing between 300 to 500 barrels of refined petroleum per day. The Pentagon said the purpose of the airstrikes was not necessarily to kill militants, but to destroy the facilities which were funding IS through the black market. The UN Security Council demanded that all states make it a serious criminal offense for their citizens to travel abroad to fight with militant groups or to recruit and fund others to do so, in a move sparked by the rise of the IS group. At a meeting chaired by U.S. President Barack Obama, the 15-member council unanimously adopted a U.S. drafted resolution that compels countries to prevent travel of militant fighters to foreign conflicts. More with Nadia Ali in this report.
The UN Security Council adopted a draft resolution on combating the threat posed by foreign fighters joining militant groups such as the ISIL. The new legislation will require all UN member states to take steps to prevent the recruitment and transport of would-be foreign fighters preparing to join terrorist groups. French President François Hollande called the resolution a robust message of unity from the international community as a whole. Iraq's Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi thanked the countries that had offered to support to combat the IS-IL militants there. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan accused the international community of doing too little to stem the flow of foreign fighters to Syria. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov cautioned against the temptation to narrow down the problem, saying that the IS-IL is far from the sole threat to the region. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott said that more than 60 Australians were fighting with the militant group.
Already more than 60 Australians are fighting with ISIL and al-Nusra. More than 60 Australians have had their passports suspended to prevent them from joining terrorist groups in the Middle East. Our laws are changing to ensure that foreign fighters returning home can be arrested, prosecuted and jailed for a very long time indeed.
Meanwhile, British Prime Minister David Cameron said he would ask the British Parliament to approve the UK joining the international airstrikes against the IS-IL militant group in Iraq. Cameron said during an address to the UN General Assembly that he would recall the British Parliament on Friday.
I am therefore recalling the British Parliament on Friday to secure approval for the United Kingdom to take part in international airstrikes against ISIL in Iraq.
He said that some 500 people from Britain have traveled to Iraq and Syria to join the IS-IL fighters. Cameron also said that Iran could help defeat the IS-IL threat following a meeting with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani earlier in the day. Syrian activists say suspected U.S.-led airstrikes have killed 14 militants and 5 civilians in northeastern Syria. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said today that overnight strikes hit Deir ez-Zur and Hasaka areas.
Palestinian sources revealed that talks in Cairo between rival Palestinian factions Hamas and Fatah on strengthening the Palestinian unity government were taking place in a positive atmosphere. The two-day talks, which began on Wednesday, come after a joint Palestinian delegation and Israel agreed to hold separate and direct talks late in October to thrash out a lasting truce in Gaza. Majd El-Wahidi has this report from Gaza.
Confirmed that the talks in Cairo between rival Palestinian factions Hamas and Fatah are taking place in a positive atmosphere. Both parties met in Cairo on Wednesday to try to overcome their differences and agree on a unified strategy during talks with Israeli negotiators.
I think the Palestinian factions, Hamas and Fatah, want to have a unity government. They want to be united against the occupation forces in Palestine, but the situation is not ripe enough. I think it's going to take them more time to be able to implement the unity agreement, especially that the United States and the Israeli side having a veto against Hamas. They don't want to include Hamas in any unity deal. But at the same time, I think Hamas and Fatah, with the Egyptian side, doing their best in Cairo talks, in order to reach an agreement to implement what we have about the reconciliation.
Israel's Operation Protective Edge has ended after nearly 2 months of a bloody war. But since then, the division in the Palestine's recently established unity government between Hamas and Fatah has been growing. Hamas has accused the government of negligence and says it should be responsible for the rebuilding, while Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Fatah leader has threatened to end the political partnership. He has himself accused Hamas of operating a shadow government in Gaza. For observers, the failure in current talks will result in catastrophic repercussions on the Palestinian people.
If Palestinian internal dialogue fails, it will have catastrophic ramifications for the Palestinian people, especially in the Gaza Strip, who are suffering from blockade, unemployment, poverty, and the result of the Israeli devastation and destruction which was inflicted on Gaza. So for all of these reasons, Palestinian internal dialogue will have to succeed in order to avoid further negative ramifications for the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause.
One of the issues that will be raised in the current talks is the return of the unity government in the Gaza Strip and the implementation of its authority without obstacles. For Palestinians, this government is crucial as it will be ahead of an international donor conference next month to address the reconstruction of Gaza.
The division between Hamas and Fatah proved that a united government could be a strong factor in creating a positive change for both Gaza and the West Bank. However, whether this change takes place or not, it seems that Gazans will continue to pay a heavy price for this division. Majlou Hadi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
Officially supported by the Kuwait Armed Forces and represented by the Logistics and Supply Authority, the second annual Military Logistics Kuwait Summit kicked off at the Radisson Blu Sawa. The first day of the summit witnessed Major General Lafi Al-Azmi, Assistant Chief of the Staff for Logistics and Supply Authority Kuwait Armed Forces, delivered an opening speech. Major General Lafi noted earlier on that he is looking forward to getting real results from the event, particularly solutions and shared experiences regarding logistic challenges and obstacles. Our reporter Ghinwa Jabouri was there and has the following report.
Annual Military Logistics Kuwait once again welcomed the participation of Major General Lafi Al-Azmi, Deputy Chief of Staff of the Logistics and Supply Authority, along with the support of senior officers and logistics experts from Kuwait and abroad, including the US, UK, Belgium and NATO, among others.
Well, we offer base camp solutions to all the departments and agencies, whether it's coalition forces, U.S. forces, special operations. Basically, that's exactly what we do. We provide complete base camp solutions for operational units out in the field. It's been a great opportunity for us to come here and to share, our expertise in base camp operations with the command here that's attending the conference. Alaska Structures, we've been in business for over 38 years. We actually were founded in Alaska, providing housing for the oil and mining industry.
Impression is excellent, I would say. The speakers have been of a very high quality, experienced practitioners from the issues, giving the strategic and operational views and practical experiences from the life. So the way they can elaborate the topics is concrete and substantial.
The event is expected to host a cross-section of general officers involved with logistics from Kuwait, NATO and international forces, who will come together to discuss advancements in logistics operations and the resulting challenges for militaries in the region.
In terms of Kuwait, actually, we have been chasing opportunities in this country for last 17 years. We are interested in with all kind of land platform systems. And one of our area of business is modernizing and upgrading the aged vehicles, aged military vehicles. M113 family of vehicles are one of this element.
As you'll see through the agenda, through our speakers, we've got a very good international faculty of speakers, high-ranking generals and brigadiers from the UK and the US, sharing their foreign experiences, what they're doing abroad and also what they're doing locally in their local camps. And through that knowledge transfer, we're looking at creating a platform that really assists the Kuwaitis in their logistics objectives, which is really to position themselves regionally as a leader in logistics, and also within their own organization to simplify their own logistics processes and improve their efficiencies.
The summit serves as an ideal platform that showcases success stories and to provide opportunities for collaboration and cooperation that will ultimately contribute to the advancement of defense logistics and supply in Kuwait. The second annual Military Logistics Summit's goal is to promote opportunities for cooperation in the logistics operations, represented by foreign expertise. From the Radisson Blu, I'm Ghinwa Jabouri reporting to you for the English News.
And in local business news, all main indices of Kuwait Stock Exchange posted gains upon closing in today's session. The KSX 15 settled at 1,212.64. That's a gain of 4.12 points. The weight index closed at 497.07, gaining 1.62 points, and the price index reached 7,655.57, putting on 9.21 points. With the participation of 73 Kuwaiti talents, the Spring Formative Arts Festival was recently launched with the attendance of the National Council for Culture, Arts and Letters, officials, artists and enthusiasts. Organizing such festival highlighted the importance of formative art as one of the main sources of artistic creativity and cultural enlightenment. Our correspondent Hiba Abdurrahman was there and has this report.
The National Council for Culture, Arts and Letters hosted the grand opening of its Spring Formative Arts Festival, launching a huge exhibition including 149 works by 73 artists. From surrealism to figurative oil painting and collage to sculpting, the artworks on display at Al Funun and Ahmed Al Udwani halls differed in approach, reflecting the coming of a new generation.
Actually, we are here for opening exhibition for Spring Art Festival, and we are so happy today to meet many kind of artists, Kuwaitis artists, from younger and professional artists. And in every year, one time, we have to do this kind of exhibition that we can make a sharing for many culture of arts. So from classic, from antique, from many kind of arts. I cannot really explain because there are many, and we are very happy to meet them. Like what you say, like Eid, because in every 1 year we meet them. So I wish to come to see that kind of circle. That we will be very happy.
The over 35-year-old event was stopped on numerous occasions, but life was breathed back into it. The decision was taken by the Arts Authority due to its important role in reinvigorating the art scene and encouraging artists to continue their contributions to the community. The exhibition this year included some excellent artworks, delivering new approaches and ideas from exceptional artists of different generations. Hosting these kinds of local exhibitions gives visitors the opportunity to witness and come into contact with new arts experiences. After the event's grand opening, awards were handed out to this year's winners of Best Artwork. These included Ahmed Al Ayoub, Jasim Al Umar, Abbas Malik, Nawaf Al Arkali, Abdullah Al Jiran, Khadija Al Bahawid, May Saad, Najla Hussein, Suzanne Bushnaq, and Mish'al Al Faisal.
Organizing the 7th Art Festival, which is entitled Spring, highlights the importance of this kind of art that's being spread recently in Kuwait, as well as the country's patronage of the Kuwaiti talents. From Al Udwani Hall in Abdullah Salim area, this is Hiba Abdurrahman reporting for English News.
For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Have a pleasant time. I'm Maham Tawa. Before we go, we remind you once again of our main top stories. Have a pleasant time and good night. His Highness the Prime Minister affirms Kuwait's keenness in retaining stability in Egypt and Yemen. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister confirms Kuwait's commitment to the UN Security Council resolution regarding terrorism. The US-led coalition targets oil refineries controlled by IS groups in Syria, killing 14 militants. And the UN Security Council adopts a resolution on preventing fighters from joining foreign conflicts.